This is Scott from Haas Factory Outlet Anaheim, which is in California, and I decided to make a video here to answer some questions for my customers about robots and how they can help in their job shops or manufacturing process. Let me jump into it. So you're going to see a video here of me on the road for 2 days with our robot partner, and I'm visiting shops, and I'd like to thank all the shops for allowing me to document some of this. So I'm making this video to send, and if people are interested, we'll go in and we'll talk some more details. So I'd like to thank all the shops for allowing me to document this. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you, seriously, for allowing me. So basically, I'm your Haas Factory Outlet representative, and I sell Haas Machines, which are CNC machines, so making metal cutting machines. But we also partner with various vendors from time to time when we see it makes sense for our customers. And in this case, there's been a lot of buildup and a lot of talk about robots and robotics and automation and lights out machining and things like that. And while there's been a lot of robots at trade shows and events, and you're hearing them talked about like it's this cool trend that's coming, I'm not actually seeing them in a lot of shops yet, but I believe that's going to change. And so I asked Numatic Engineering, which is a partner of our Haas Factory Outlet Anaheim, to spend a couple days with me going into shops. I have some shops with robots, and I have some that aren't even Haas shops yet, but are interested. So we spent a couple days, and hopefully, actually I don't say hopefully, I know you are going to be able to see what the robots can do here. I really filmed a lot, and my idea was to get it down to like 10-15 minutes, but to be honest, there was so much good information here. I'm keeping it fairly original. I cut out as much as I could, and it's more of a vlog of me on the road for the day and a half, so I got some little fun stuff in there as I'm visiting shops. But for the most part, you're going to see demos maybe 3 or 4 times of different shops running these running the robots, and then some interested in it. And you're going to see from the base to the pricing to the capability. And the idea is if you feel this can help you as a shop, please reach out to us, HFO Anaheim. We provide all the initial support. We're using them to help our customers that have Haas machines integrate them. So if you get it through us and someone like myself or another person like me, then when you call me or you call our HFO directly, and our team is going to be able to help you, and we're not going to hand you off. So we basically own it. Now, if we need help from Numatics or Universal Robotics, we reach out, and they're a resource for us. But if you get it through us, then obviously we own, because you're a customer, and we work hard for you guys. So we bring in partners that are very special, and they're one of them. So you're going to see some time I'm spending here with Boris. I think his name was Boris. He's our application manager, and it's also going to be Rami, who's a territory manager like myself. And yeah, so enjoy the video. Again, I want to thank all the customers for allowing me to film. I had like 4 pages of notes here. It's actually the second time I filmed this intro, because it's like 8 o'clock at night. I'm editing this video right now, and there was a lot of things that I thought the video would tell you that they're not, about why customers are looking at this, but you don't want to hear this. You just want to see the video. So check out the video. It might be 2 parts. So until next time, enjoy the video, and feel free to fast forward for parts you think are going a little slow, but you should see everything you need. And I'm going to end it now because I tend to get wordy. Thanks everybody. Bye. Good morning, everybody. This is Scott. I have an interesting couple days. I am going to be hanging out with Numatic Engineering, and we're going to be doing some Universal Robotic demonstrations at some shops here on the coast. So I'm going to try to capture a little video. A lot of people are talking about robots, and so I thought this would be a good opportunity to capture a little on video and share it with the world. So I'm on my way to Starbucks. It's early here, and I'm going to meet up with the crew, plan out a little bit, and then we're going to get on the road and try to visit as many shops. I set up about a bunch of appointments. So a lot of people are really interested on how to go to the next level. So that is what we're doing for the next 2 days, 3 days. All right, over and out, and enjoy the video. It is a beautiful morning here. I'm about 5 minutes from Rincon Beach and Carpinteria. Oh, this is gorgeous today. Gotta get some gas though. That is Guillermo. That's really cool. I was getting ready to get into the Starbucks, and I bumped into Guillermo. He's one of our service engineers up here in the territory. So that was like 1 in a million, just bumping into Guillermo. That was fun. So that was a little picture of his service van driving off, and we caught up for a couple minutes there, and he's doing some local calls, and I'm out on the road. That's just fun stuff right there. What are the chances? in a whole territory like this, bumping in him this morning. Okay, I'm almost at Starbucks. And there is Numatic Engineering. Wow, they brought the whole van. Check that out. Vision, robotics, pneumatics. That is cool. This is my local coffee shop near my house. Everybody gathers in the morning and chit chats. It's usually open at like 5 a.m. It's pretty cool. Which one of these guys is?
Hi.
Yep, that's me. Hey, are you Boris or?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Scott.
That's Rami over there.
Rami?
Hey, what's
Hey.
up? How you doing, man?
And I'm doing a little documenting of the couple days. We're gonna film a little video.
All right. Right on, man.
I'm gonna get some coffee. Cool?
Yeah.
All right.
We got.
That's one of those guys right there. He's always there. Whew.
We just got we usually have other stuff, but we just
Ah.
got the universal robot strapped down. We have
That
a
is the
boom.
UR5.
That is the UR5. It's on a mobile cart.
Okay. Let's go show that off.
Let's do it.
Okay, first up, my friends at Valet, Brian and Jim. They're looking at robot. Seriously, so this is good timing. And let's go hang out with Brian and Jim. And you know, I gotta give credit to the Numatic team. They drive really fast. So we're gonna get to our appointments quick. That's awesome, man. I love it when a plan comes together. How heavy is it?
The robot is light, but the base is heavy because of stability needs.
I didn't want to capture much in there because we got a lot of work going on that I got to keep private, but that was fun. Did about a 40-minute demo there, and yeah, that was number one. Woohoo! I feel good. I feel great. I feel wonderful. What movie?
Good. I feel great. I feel wonderful. I feel good. I feel great. I feel wonderful. I feel good. I feel great. I feel wonderful.
Eric? 3 SYT and a lot of production parts, and I helped them buy this old VF2 to get the shop started a long time ago.
He pushes at the same time presses the foot switch.
Yeah, you don't let it go and then push it.
No. Exactly. So we actually go in there, we say, hey, push for 5 seconds, because we know within 3 seconds you're already bottomed out. Look at it this way. If the fingers are done correctly, these are not the right ones, you can have a V shape. It will actually push it into place. Have 2 full revolutions on each motor. Now the robot, as you can see, is solid because it knows what's on there. There's a magic button back here. It's called the free drive. As soon as I press that, it becomes limp. You see it's not going down or up. And I can rotate
And that, a revolution and a half this way, and I'm about in the middle right here.
So you can go 2 revolutions on each joint. Place position 1, position 2, robot closure. I'm going to say file, new, discard changes. We're going to start fresh.
Yeah.
And don't forget, I can go around, upside down, all that sort of thing. Very short moves. I'm going to say OK. Set this point. Let's say right about there.
So in 5 minutes, you basically created an operation from picking it up, moving it over, and putting it down. Over and over.
All day.
Robot has no egos. Turn the lights off, turn the AC off, go to the beach. Together, it's a combination of, it actually goes astronomical, it's not 2x. So 1 arm, 2 arm. If I only move, for example, from here to here, only one motor, 191 degrees per second. So that was 60 degrees per second. I'm gonna go to 125, you can go to 250. Acceleration, I'm gonna go to 1500, you can go to 2500.
Whoa.
So we'll kind of go a little bit slower.
Stops on a dime, huh?
0.1 at maximum speed, maximum payload. Left and right. So you may need to put a stop on one corner. Or put it down, maybe a camera or a sensor says where I am. Or maybe the robot goes and says, hey, you need to move this way. Now I'm gonna hold you down and trigger the jump. So this thing has what is known under their wizards as a force mode. And I'm just gonna do a quickie. I'm gonna say, I want you to push, not in the Z direction, but in the minus Y direction at 25 newtons. The robot itself is sealed, loop for life. When they came out, they actually had, I think it was 35,000 hours, but I'm hearing 30. Somewhere it was written 30,000 hour life. Now, these things are rated for 10,000 hours. I don't know how they do that. Nobody says 10,000 hours, right? It's a mathematical calculation. So we have one in San Diego that was our first robot, aerospace company. They've been running it non-stop, and we haven't had issues. They actually called me a year ago. They're like, Boris, what's the maintenance? I'm like, good question. I look at the manual, nothing. I said, well, everything clean. It's a very clean environment. So unless you sabotage it, there's nothing to change.
Normal use, years and years.
Normal use.
It has a 53-inch reach and 10 kilograms, so about 20 pounds. So like Boris says, the robot starts right here and ends right here. Because you can use all type of end effectors, right? We have a $5,000 Robotique gripper on there because we never know what we're demonstrating. So yours was really easy, nice and square, but we really don't know which one we're done. With this, what's great about it is you can adjust the speed, how far it opens, how far it closes. It can tell you I picked up a 2-inch part.
This is a customer that I installed on a CNC, and I told him, I said, I need part presentation. He goes and buys the Legos. Toys R Us. It's fine. I looked at it, I'm like, that's not industrial. He goes, does it work? I said, yeah. And the beauty of it, now I'm gonna go buy it. You see this airline, the yellow line?
Yeah.
It's going right, I don't know if there's a close-up to it. We literally, there's a bolt holding the finger. We just put a loop holder in there. We just shove the hose in there, and that's what we're using to blow. I told the guy that I was working, I said, put a nozzle. He goes, good enough. And it is good enough. So you can keep it simple.
I see.
The best.
And it doesn't have to stay on, right? You can turn that on every time there's a part. The UR3 is about a little over 27. I don't know exactly. I know this is close to 35, 34.7. And then the big one, I think it's close to 45. Around that price, 45, 46.
Plus the grippers.
Yeah, that's
And then
that's
any
just the
custom
robot.
installation if we're coming out and spending a week.
Exactly. That's just I'm talking just robot. That doesn't include installation. It doesn't include the grip or anything.
But everything we're looking at
So
here.
what you get,
Tablet
it
and the
includes the
controller.
tablet, the controller. Everything is the same for all 3 sizes. So like I said, it starts here. You know this doesn't come with it. It
Right.
starts right here
Right.
and it ends right there, and then you can just add what you have.
Accessories and things
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
You bring that CNC around. If the robot can reach both of them, perfect. Some people get the UR10 just for the reach,
Right.
not necessarily the payload.
It's a little bigger than that one.
Right.
Yeah.
But if let's say the CNCs are next to each other, you can just get a dumb linear slide, put the robot here, put a part in, air, electric, belt, chain, doesn't matter. Go to the next side, CNC, with some positive locking obviously. Put the next part in, come back, finish this one, just go back and forth, or across. You can do it upside down, you can do it linear, field, table, etc.
Taking these guys to the Habit, which started here in Goleta. That's it, right behind us. The Habit, the burger place, Goleta, California. Started right here. There they are, right there. I'm gonna go hang out. So that's kind of fun. We're getting something to eat, and right next door is another shop. So I went in just to say hi. That I was traveling, doing some robot demos, and he said, "Hey, I'll join you for lunch." So he's gonna come over here after we finish this quick meeting and join here at the Habit. It's kind of cool. So hopefully he comes over soon because we got another appointment in 45 minutes. If that looks odd to you, you're not alone. Okay, explain.
All right, so this is usually the way we get ketchup, but in reality, these trays are supposed to be opened up
For years, I
like
can't ever
such,
remember.
and then you
opening.
can get twice as much ketchup in them and easier access.
Game over.
You can send the paycheck to 723.
Bring it on back. So these guys threw down the gauntlet. They're asking them to do a custom sanding one out of the box real quick. They're like, we want to sand this part. And these guys at Numatics are pretty on the ball. So we're gonna do a sanding op real quick, literally in 5 minutes. I set this up with a robot. Pretty cool.
Anywhere, twice.
This is what they were doing. I had one operator standing here, toggling between two machines, parts over and over. And they're still doing it because they got a lot of parts. So let's go check out what they're doing now with the robot. Okay, so now we're walking into where they set up the two Haas ST10s and they have the robot on the top. And this is a fully automated cell that they feed in the morning, in the afternoon, and the evening before they go home. As far as I know, I might have to double check some of the hours, but they are just about there for going lights out, full automation, and getting more setups like this. So let's go check out the cell that we set up here. So what we have here is the two Haas lathes, and we put the robot, Julian's a genius. He thought, hey, let me build this scaffolding type, and so when the machine is away, you can just walk underneath and it folds away out of the way. And so the operator can do conventional machining if he needed to. But that's sort of the setup that we're doing here between these two Haas ST10s with the UR10 on this one. And it is usually running. I think they're probably doing something else right now. But as an example of a UR10 with two Haas lathes integrated and doing parts fairly automated all day long and even into the evening now. What we're talking about right now is the dual gripper. So Boris is explaining how the dual gripper, you can have the robot go inside the machine, put one part in, and then take a part out with the same movement inside the machine. So what we're explaining is actually the first time that Julian is hearing this, and he's kind of like, wow, I want to know more. So let's tune in.
So same thing.
The issue is always going to be the tool wear, though.
Well, okay.
That's
Yeah,
the new gripper?
If that's a bottleneck, yeah, it's a different gripper. If that's a bottleneck, then it is a bottleneck.
Is that your custom fixture setup, Julian?
Yeah,
How's that working for you?
It's very well. So now it's waiting for this first machine to be complete.
Right.
So if we could eliminate time over there.
And it's ready, it will go in, pick up the finished part, put this one in. Hey, you get going because you're the slower animal. Let me go feed you. Be done.
I'm going to try to get a video of the robot moving between the two Haas lathes, and what it's doing is it's taking one part out, flipping it over, and moving it to the second machine. And this is all automated, and this is something that Numatics helped this customer set up to where they could walk away from the machine, and an operator is coming in every once in a while to make sure the parts are all on the table and things like that. So hopefully keeping an eye on the machine, and when it starts doing that op, I'll capture a little video.
Works like it's supposed to, and also it plugs into the arm.
Plugs into the arm? Yeah. So this is one of the smart grippers that plugs into the control of the interface, right? Yeah. Yeah. And you created this fixture here, about 40 parts?
Yeah. Actually, it'll hold 90.
Hold 90.
We have a spot for when it detects bad parts.
Oh.
Puts it on the back.
Really? It puts bad parts in the back so you know.
Yes. If there's any broken drill that's detected with
Yeah.
the probe, it automatically knows to take that part out and put it in the back.
You come over here and you spend about maybe half an hour setting it all back up.
Right.
And then changing the tooling out, and then you can walk away for up to 4 to 5 hours.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I'll come over and maybe check a few parts because we're holding tight tolerances.
Yeah, super
And
tight.
If I need to make adjustments, we do it. But it's pretty much with the tooling that we have, it runs perfect through the whole 40 parts.
Wow. That's amazing what you guys set up, all the game tooling.
Yeah.
So you're getting like 10 times tool life.
Right, so what I have is macros for each individual tool.
Yeah.
It actually tells it how many parts to make
Yeah.
with that tool.
Right.
And then it expires the tool as well.
Door opens, robot is ready, part comes out, robot. Oh, you make sure the part is good, right? You're doing your own little setup there. Flip it over, grab the part. Putting it into the Haas. Normally this is done by an operator. Okay. Now it's flipping it over. It's grabbing another part. I think that's what it's doing. It's grabbing another part. Okay, off of a custom fixture. There we go. Now it's loading it into the chuck of the other second Haas. And now both machines run. Door closes, and now we wait.
The Haas Robots, they need to get a pulse from the robot or
Right.
external device that says,
Okay.
hey, I'm here. And as you can see, we have these two outputs set up on a frequency or a heartbeat that tells these guys, hey, robot is present, so go ahead and do your work as you need.
At all. Look how it is. Just extend it out. It's got a key actually mounted on something close to what you have there, but it's not right on there for now.
So that was a little interesting sidebar. Julian looked over at the polisher and asked Boris if they could automate that with a robot. And hopefully I got a little video of it. And Boris was like, yes, we can totally do that. So these are more uses of the robot that are kind of popping up. Once you have one, you can kind of start seeing what are the possibilities. So again, this is a polishing operation manually by an operator. It can be done. So they're actually talking about that right now, of how they could set that up as well with another robot.
In that case, your gripper could have that thing. Your gripper would have. Oh, this is soft? Yeah, it's very soft. So you would grab the back, the bigger diameter.
Just like that. In that.
Whew, that is the end of this day. Didn't get film of every shop or every demo, but we got enough. And now we are headed to Jackos. Jackos is the best, in my opinion, steak and barbecue place in the Central Coast. And oh, I'm so glad I have an excuse to go to Jackos. If you come to Jackos, everybody's parked in a dirt parking lot. They actually make you earn your meal. So that's me, that's Numatics. They don't roll out the red carpet, that's for sure. But it's worth the hour wait to get a table. If we can get a table. If we can get a table.
We will get it.
Okay, let's put it out there in the positive universe. And these guys have not been to Jackos.
No, first time.
Oof.
I know.
Oof.
It smells so good.
That's what they have in this town. This is Napomo, outside Santa Maria. They have a church there, and then they have Jackos. One stoplight in this town. This is their bar. To get a beer while you're waiting. They said we can get a table? 30 minutes. That's great. 30 minutes is not bad at all.
Wait 3 hours? Like,
But why did you put
3 hours.
Oh, that's not.
Only 30 minutes, and usually, like the waitress said, it could be up to 3 hours. Did you hear the waitress say that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just got a Jackos red wine for. It's a keepsake. It's like a scrapbook. I like collecting things from places I go. This is really nice, huh? All right. From the pit. This is what they're known for. Is dispensers. Look at everything. Thank you. Spencer's a ribeye? That looks extra well done for sure.
I don't know how you
Oh, wow.
ate that, man. Give me that thing. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Rami,
Yeah, baby. It was worth the wait.
they don't mess around.
Oh, cookies?
Stop the madness.
Oh, nice sunset.
Restaurant on the coast?
Not bad.
Not bad?
Definitely. We'll definitely do this again.
So having a great day with the folks from Numatic Engineering. We're finished up the day, had some dinner at Jackos. Really great restaurant. Highly recommended in Santa Maria, California, north of Santa Maria. And so now it's gonna get a check in the hotel and work on some emails and then do it all again tomorrow. So stay tuned for the second half of the video. Over and out. Uh-oh, somebody got in trouble. I always feel bad for people. They get pulled over. All right, so next appointment, we're going to a shop that already has one of these UR robots, and we're going to catch up, and this is a really good example. The shop isn't using it for loading their CNCs, they're actually using it to do a lot of the grinding that used to be done by hand. So hopefully this will be helpful as well. Okay, I think I'm about there. There it is. The one they're putting on the robot to do all the grinding and finishing. That's a huge pile. And that's pretty cool that the robot's doing that. have a jacket on it. That's the jacket,
Yeah.
right?
Nothing is falling apart. You got this bolted down, I can see, so that's good.
It is solid to the
Excellent.
ground. I missed that hole by, I think, like a 16th of an inch.
It's always like that. So these guys, I'm sure you got to see these, right? Filters.
So how often are you using this, Josh? As much as possible?
Every day.
Every day.
Maybe a 7 hours a day.
And you're stacking, that's your stacking, right? You're staging?
That's our,
So the robot
loading-
takes it off of there?
Loading tray, yeah. The robot picks it off and does its thing. Is this thing ready to go? No, it's not.
You're just checking out the program?
Yeah. Just checking out the program, see if there's any stuff you can do.
This is a good example of a shop that is really working on their automation. So we have Numatic pallet changers. We definitely have the robots. They're always interested in better fixtures and all that kind of stuff. And they've got an EC400, pallet pulls and tombstones. So this is definitely a forward-thinking shop to get away from one spindle and one person kind of standing there and monitoring the whole time. The Mitico.
Yeah, works great.
Works great.
Now that I installed my revisions,
Oh, that's right.
you see the springs I put in there?
You were telling me that you were going to do something.
Yeah.
About to do another demo here in Santa Maria. I went in and kind of gave the customer, we set this up, but they said, hey, are these the guys with the blue caps and those robots? And I said, yeah. And they're like, oh, we've been looking at them. Those are really cool. So they're really, they're looking forward to this demo. Boris, you were at Haas Tech? Yes.
Yeah, talked to some people there. They're very impressive.
Yeah.
Liked it quite a bit.
So we're going to be able to get anything answered here right now. Just kind of go through the whole demo. They call it the creature too. They don't call it the robot. They call it the creature.
Very good.
How you doing?
Hi.
I'm Robin.
I'm Mike.
Mike Forrest.
Yeah. Have you been looking at any of the videos and stuff?
Oh, okay. This is a great machine. The VM6, size of that. They do all their big parts on this one. Plugs right into
Regular AC plug to a standard 100 volts AC plug. Power requirements are very low.
and then you wake it up.
We're waking it up. It will go through its self-checking routine and be ready to go.
Like 3 minutes, huh?
That's about it.
That is big, man. This is the old Haas TL3B, right?
Oh, I don't know what the letter definition is. This is a great machine.
You like this machine?
Oh yeah. Very easy to run.
After that, so if I'm standing here and it runs into me, it stops. That was probably 6 pounds of force. At maximum speed, which is whipping around, we'll do it a little bit. At maximum payload, you're only going to get hit by 30 pounds. So what I'm going to do now is show you what the robot is. So the robot starts right here and it ends right there. Right now we have it on a stand that I use to kind of carry around and show demos as I'm doing now. We have this particular gripper up here which is really fancy, and I can open and close to any distance, etc., etc. I can close the gripper with a known force or to a known distance, and I can get feedback from it. So the robot ends right here. Depending on what you're picking up, I'm doing this next week, a lot bigger one. You have different grippers, vacuum cups, magnetics, drills. Don't even ask where we were right before this call. Dispensers, any. The robot doesn't care. And 6. So you have your 3 wrists here. You have 2 full revolutions on every joint. Did you see that robot that was running? It was kind of going twice. Unheard of. Most robots cannot scratch themselves in the back. So this guy can actually do it. I press it and hold it. I can grab it. Hey, I want to pick something up right here. And I want to go down a little bit, maybe a little bit to the right, a little bit back. Okay, that's where I am.
So that's how you set up your movements. You can move it,
teach a position.
2, 3, and then it figures out the fastest route between that.
Yep. I go to my second position, set this waypoint. Let's say we're going to come over here just for laughs and giggles. And a little bit low, back, up. There is millimeters or inches associated with it. So it's really good at math. So there is a point defined in space. Nobody cares. It's here, it's there. And I say, okay, I say run.
So you just did a 2-point
Just a simple 2-point.
at 20% speed, because you can make this really fast.
We can flip that table at 110 pounds, easy. So what I did right now is just using stylus with your finger. Have the part, release and all that. So all that communication between the robot and the CNC machine is called handshake. So this green button has some kind of an input in the back. It's connected to an M bit, right? So this is connected to that M bit. And then there's an M pin back there that comes to the robot that says, hey, robot, I'm done, so go ahead and pick up the part. Now, I can pick up the part, either go directly back to where I picked it up from, or go to another pallet, or go to a camera, anything. Or put it in a secondary collet. We do a lot of duals. So all that's available. The beauty with the pallet is all you got to do is teach the 4 corners and say it's a 4x18 and you're done. Let's say once we pick up, we're going to go over here and let's see if and we're going to drop it, for example. I'm just going to add that right now. I'm just going to open and I'm going to say run.
You've already created the program? You're running it now?
Yep. So it goes down, picks up the part, exits to clear the tray, comes over here, drops it. Now, we didn't look to see where we were, but in reality, it was a lot bit there, so we're going to go increments, automatic calculation. And that tray doesn't have to be parallel. It could be upside down. The robot can be upside down, wall mounted, at some crazy angle mounted. It doesn't care. As soon as you tell it, it says, oh, gravity is this way. You can turn it into a pneumatic. As soon as it stops it, it says, hey, I'm bottomed out, close the chuck, release the gripper, get the hell out of it. So you're guaranteed that your part will be bottomed out. Usually it's within 2 seconds. And you guys are like, hey, every 50 parts, I kind of want to inspect things. Don't just go through everything. You don't want to create scrap. You say, hey, every time we're at 50, I want you to wake up, turn on the output, a yellow light, hey, somebody get over here and inspect. So the robot puts it in, goes up to 50, comes up like this, turns on a light, and stops. You come, you check the part, continue. Puts it there, starts another 50. So all of that is literally built in.
So a lot of times you probably don't want to do a pallet just for a job that you're not going to have. And you might be able, with this vision camera, to locate the part, and it tells the robot where to go pick up the part from. So you know, you might be able to just lay it on a flat table if it's a, you know, if it's a part that can just sit. So that camera, what it does, the camera that he has there, what it does is it goes and takes a picture and it tells the robot, oh, I see the part. And it goes right to the part. So now you don't have to have pallets if you're only doing 100 pieces, right? As long as they're flat and you teach it the part, this is a very, very simple camera to use.
Made obviously by these guys. And the robot can go over an area, like a table, and say, hey, where's that part? Oh, there it is. Grab it.
It sends the orientation to the robot.
Everything.
Robot goes and gets it from that spot.
You can move it, it will we can do it on the fly. You can come down a conveyor belt that says, oh, I see it. It will match the speed, like an eagle running after a rabbit. Orient itself, grab it at the same speed of the belt, pick it up and come out. All right, push. All right. So this particular gripper comes with these standard fingers. These are just flat because I don't know what I'm picking up. I usually pick up avocados, horseshoes. Don't ask. So you make your own custom fingers to pick up whatever you want. This is what I made because I can grab circular parts this way and this way. This was for a larger device. These were for bottles. So 3D print them to test it out, and then obviously you machine proper aluminum parts for it. So fingers, you can grab anything that you want. And then this one, this one, this one. Now obviously if two parts are next to each other, there's no way for me to grab them, right? So you'll have to kind of separate them a little bit and have the fingers correctly down. I'm actually doing a part like this next week. It's over the limit of the larger robot, but we're picking it up very gently. It's a 2.5-hour cycle time. So they're gonna run this in the afternoon. It's on one of these. They have a 5-axis inside of the chuck. And they said, hey, this thing is running at night. How do I know that everything is fine? I'm like, hey, you go to Amazon, 29 bucks, you buy a camera that can pan, tilt, zoom in, bolt it up there. In 2 seconds, it's on your phone. He goes, yeah, but sometimes I want to control some things. There's a little SMS module. This one scares me. You put it inside the controller, this animal will text you. So it will text you first. If you don't respond, it will text you. You don't respond, it will text him. Whoever responds with the right term, go to pallet 2. Go ABC. Whatever you choose, the robot will actually act on that input.
Take over the world.
You're watching too many movies. Our #1 enemy is Hollywood. Like in Iron Man, the robot has feelings and all that. These things don't have feelings. They don't even know what a feeling is. They go from A to B. They're dumb, blind creatures, but they are consistent. They'll go from A to B. They don't need lighting. They don't need air conditioning. They don't have any drinking issues or spousal issues like I do. So they'll just work all day. So the funny part is, like on a circular part, if you have V-shaped fingers, they could be off 1/4 of an inch in any direction. It's still going to grab it, and you're bottoming out anyway. So if I grab it this way or a little bit off this way, that way, it doesn't matter. With a dumb linear, you bring it here and you feed this machine. So,
And you come back to the second machine. So the linear guide between machines.
yeah, so just a dumb linear guide to go from point A to point B. And those are just hard stops. You don't need anything expensive there. We have them usually upside down. So when there's a short run of something, the robot just collapses upstairs. It's as if it's not there. You run your manual operation, and then now we got that 10,000 parts. Boom, it comes back and it does this thing.
Do you see customers rolling up parts to the robot more likely, or we were talking about customers creating carts with robots in them, where they move the robot wherever they need and it's picking up parts? What do you see as maybe the most common?
All over the map.
All over the map.
Usually you bolt the robot right in front of the machine, and then there's a table that you just bring in the tray. And the robot says, hey, I can reach all the way out there, so I'm going to grab that part, etc., etc. Now, it can cover everything, right? So you can have multiple trays. So at 5 o'clock, you populate all your trays, hit go, turn on the camera, and come back the next day. Everything is finished for the secondary or the third operation. So the rules for robot is the 3 Ds: dumb, dull, and dangerous. I mean, putting this doesn't take I would go crazy in half an hour. If it's something dangerous, maybe you have a press here. Operator's putting the part, two-handed start. These are great for that one. Puts it in there. As soon as it gets out of the way, it's already triggering the press. It doesn't have to come way out here and then press it. So sometimes, I believe Scott was mentioning, if the part is small and the cycle time is fast, you have dual grippers. You put a part in, you come out, as soon as it presses it, you already got the second part. Take this one out, put this one here, so your press, boom, 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 because that's where the money is, right? You already have a couple of inputs and outputs in the back that we can tie into. You modify your G-code just slightly and it runs fine. He'll provide the information for you. They do have robot cards.
Robot ready interface.
Robot ready interface. You put that on there, then it's like, holy cow, now you're professional.
How many input outputs are on this? Was it 16?
16 in, 16 out, 4 analog in, 2 analog out. But you can, with Modbus, you can go to infinite. We don't have anybody that uses more than 5 or 6. There's not that much going on here. It's simple.
And what about this base? If a customer wants to go conventional, you can roll it up and then you can roll it away. So if you don't have a large production and you want to get back to the way you've been doing it for a while for a smaller run, you can just move this in and out of the way.
Yes. So
Okay.
this stand is what we made for our own use. You notice there's 2 holes. You can put concrete inserts, bring your robot in, bolt them down. It's running program number 1. When it's done, unplug it, take it to that machine, change the end effector. Maybe this was a gripper, that one's a vacuum. Run that program, it already knows it's a vacuum, different thing. Boom. So it never wants to stay idle. These things need to be moving and doing things.
Life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone.
It is lunchtime, Chipotle. That's my favorite. This is my favorite restaurant in the whole world, Chipotle. I actually went to the first one in Denver when I lived there. And I was like, this place is going to be big. And there they are here in California and all over.
Oh, is it me?
It's menu right there.
I'll have a bowl. And chicken. Yeah, thank you.
Those guys, bowls, they're following the leader. And some lettuce, yes, thank you. So these guys behind me, as you can see in the van, we got about 40 minutes to kill before our next appointment, and they had to get ice cream. There's something about this guy Rami and ice cream. I'm trying to pick up on this weird little need he has, and I didn't build it into the agenda. So, but we gotta take care of him before the next appointment, or he'll get the jitters. Okay, Night Creamery. Boo! They're closed. I guess we didn't pick up on the name. It said current hours 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. Night Creamery. Duh. It does look good though. Sweet therapy. Darn it. Darn it, darn it. Oh well. We're gonna have to go to the appointment without ice cream in his system.
I'm gonna be all right.
You're gonna truck on through?
Maybe after.
Maybe after. Okay, last appointment for the day. I'm gonna follow these guys about a mile away, and then we're gonna be headed back to Santa Barbara. It is windy. I don't know if you can see this because I don't have any hair, but it is really windy right now. So we're about to go in another demo. Look at that wind. This is up in Santa Maria. Harley, 6-speed. That's nice.
And Cliff, I've got Scott over here with this whole robot demo he's going to do for us.
So this is
And
amazing presentation room. This is going to be a perfect environment for the demo. It doesn't get any better than this. Waiting on some folks and plugging it in, 3-5 minutes, regular outlet, and Boris is getting it set up. Bag of the parts that they're actually making at this company for the demonstration.
No.
California. Oh, I know Rodney and well, I know some people over there.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, those are some parts.
I'm trying to think.
Selling it everywhere. Universal Robot is a company in Denmark. The robots are made in Denmark. That was bought out by Teradyne, a U.S. company, 2 years ago, I think. And they have grown 60% year over year. They're making about 70 robots a day in Denmark. We are a stocking distributor, so you get one tomorrow if you want. We have a little guy that's a UR3, 3 kilogram payload, 20-inch reach. This is the UR5, 5 kilogram reach, 830 millimeter. I'm gonna do millimeter now because that's how they have it.
What's the
on
weight?
there. 5 kilogram. And then we have a bigger one.
10
that's
pounds, right? US?
About 10, 11,
10, 11.
10, 11 pounds, somewhere around there. And then we have a UR10, of course, 10 kilogram payload, about 22 pounds. Robots were really expensive to integrate with all the safety and everything, right? Writing codes, and then the integrator, system integrator, oh, you want to see something? I'm gonna come in, but it's $200 an hour, I need 3 days. That is gone, that is done. If you're a job shop and you need to change from one project to another, this is the thing for you, and we'll kind of go through. Horace over here is our application engineer. He's been in the industry for a long time. He actually, years ago, worked for Haas, but his love is robotics, and you'll see why. Okay, it's all yours.
All mine?
Yeah.
In movies, production, there's nothing new about it. It's still a robot. It just goes from A to B, does some things. This particular robot belongs to a new family that just came out about 5-6 years ago called the collaborative robot. So it knows what it has in its payload. If you grab a heavy part and don't tell it, it will be the same as running into a wall. It will fall down. It's like me throwing a pillow at you, but putting some bricks or bowling balls in there and not telling you about it. You're gonna be surprised, right? Same with this, you cannot surprise it. If it's picking up a 3 kilogram part, you need to tell it that you're picking up a 3 kilogram part, so it will flex accordingly and still be under that collaborative feature. Now, what do I mean by that collaborative feature? I'm gonna show you that first because you're gonna forget about it as soon as we talk about the second feature, which is the seller on this thing. Let's say I'm standing in front of the robot and this thing runs into me. I would not run this robot, a Fanu or Mitsubishi or ABB or anything in this environment. I call those not killer robots, but they are killer robots. They will go right through. They want to go from A to B, God forbid something is in front of them. So this guy, right out of the box, if it's running at maximum speed, maximum payload, which in this case is 5 kilogram, the maximum force that it will produce is 150 newtons, or about 30 pounds. You can't get rid of it. A lot of people are like, hey, I really like the way it programs. I don't like that feature. I want it to be more powerful. No. So this is flexible because if you play your cards right, you will not need to put cage surrounding, floor mats, light curtains, which really add not only cost, but real estate and complexity. Now, the robot, as you can see, is nice and smooth. Everything is round corners. The robot starts here, and I'm gonna kind of wake this one up a little bit here. So this particular one is the UR5, which from here to here is 830 millimeters at 5 kilogram payload. This is the middle one. And if you notice, it's about the size of an average human, like me.
The middle one.
The middle one. There is one that's at 500 millimeters, a baby one. We call that the lab. Amgens and those guys kind of like that, even though CNCs use them. The next one is 1.3 meters at 51 inches. It's just bigger by scale. So the UR10, these motors are about this size. It can carry 22 pounds or 10 kilograms. So the robot starts here and ends right there. Now what you put after this, who knows? It could be gripper, it could be vacuum, it could be a glue gun, it could be a welder, sander, milker, cow. So that's dependent on, yeah, when we got that call.
Well, let's clear that up. Is this actually milking cows right now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, scary.
So it started interestingly. I can't talk too much about it. So anything beyond this, we call that end effector. And obviously for picking up parts like this particular gripper is from a company called Robotics from Quebec. And it costs about 5 grand. 5 grand for a gripper, that sounds high. But we actually sell them left and right because it's plug and play. And you'll understand what I'm talking about that in a bit. And this gripper, you can close it to wherever you want, at whatever speed you want, and whatever force you want. So you can grab a soft part without squishing it, like a pneumatic gripper would, or you can grab a metallic part nice and hard. So with the grippers, they usually come with fingers. This is the stock finger because I never know what I'm picking up. Rami, if you can pass that around. Usually you will machine fingers that are appropriate for your part. Like this one that I made works pretty good for circular parts. You can grab it in multiple directions, etc. So this is a 6-axis robot, 6 motors connected with linkages. So here's motor number 1, which is what we call the base. Here's the shoulder. It's actually called shoulder. Elbow. And of course the last 3 that are for your wrist. So they're trying to mimic a human being from here up. Of course a human is a infinite axis creature. This is 6 axis, but it gets the job done. Now this little program that I just kind of put together here real quick, I'm gonna run it again. And
Is this the one you created while we were just putting out a chair or two?
yeah, it's so easy to program. We'll talk about that in a second. I want you to notice that it's starting here. It can go 2 full revolutions on each axis. That's unheard of. Usually with a scale robot, you can only go about 270 degrees, or a regular 6-axis, you can only go about 350 or something. This one can go twice around every joint, which is pretty impressive. Look at this.
It wasn't on right.
Is it going to find it?
Of course it is.
What do you mean? How did you
Watch.
pull that off? Okay, I'm watching.
Now the reason is because, I'll put it right there. All right. So it can go 2 full revolutions. Right now it's base mounted. The robot could be ceiling mounted, wall mounted, any crazy angle mounted. You set it up in the mounting screen on the setup and it knows gravity is this way. That's how it becomes so precise. You can just go in there and it will, you see, it will actually move it in. You can kind of grasp it, like it's like a human being. So repeatability, surprisingly, used to be this number that we used to always throw out with other robots. With this one, I've never had repeatability issues. And believe it or not, we put parts into other parts with 0 clearance. And I'll show you how we can do that. So repeatability has gone out the window. Payload, as long as you're within the specifications, you're just fine. So the first feature, as you saw when I kind of got in front of it,
It's hard to keep up with. That's fast.
Yeah, it's running at about 30%. Yeah. All right, so the feature, the collaborative feature is what the company wants to show. They're like, hey, look, this thing won't kill you. However, 99.99% of our customers, they're like, oh yeah, wonderful. I'll just put a kennel around it anyways. Or I'm not gonna do anything because it's the corner of the room. What really sells this robot is this right here. When you buy it, it comes in 2 boxes. The robot itself, you take this cable, you connect it to the controller underneath, AC cable, you plug it in, you turn it on, and you end up with, I'm gonna discard this program, you end up with this screen. It has true absolute encoders, no batteries. A lot of companies have batteries that die in a year and a half. So true absolute encoders, pretty impressive. All right. So the reason.
So the question is it optical absolute or is it resolvers?
Special Cole Morgan motors. That program.
It's collaborative.
Okay.
Built to be around humans, moved around, doesn't need a cage, doesn't need guarding.
Okay. Well, we really want to have some automation done this year.
So I'll show you the collaborative feature. So if somebody stands in front of it, it just stops.
Okay.
Even if it's running fast, it hits you 30 pounds max. That was probably 5 because I'm going slow right now. Again, that collaborative feature doesn't really impress anybody. What really impresses people is when you plug this robot in, whether it's the first time or the millionth time, it comes up with this screen, and I'm using this calibrated tool from Office Depot. I say, hey, program robot. If I have already programs loaded, I just say load, just like a computer. It brings up everything that we do for other people. Or I say empty program. The word program and the word robot need to be pulled out of this environment. With other robots, they do make sense. But with this guy, they really need to tone it down. Because there is no programming. Let's say we're gonna move. You go to where your commands are. You have basic, advanced, and wizard. I say move, it puts a point in there, and I say 2 points. We're gonna move between 2 points. Nothing exciting. I haven't taught these, so if I say run, it says, hey, I don't know where to go. I wanna go to the command, I say set this waypoint. I can move the robot straight up and down, left, right, or rotation about the axes,
Yeah.
or individual axes, But there's also a magic button back here. Watch
Would
this.
you say that's used more?
It's used for gross movement. So if I want to pick something up, let's say that part right there. The robot is solid. As soon as I press this and hold it, it becomes what is known as free drive mode. Now it knows there's a 1.2 kilogram creature on here. If not, it would just fall. Remember that pillow analogy? So I say, hey, we're gonna go over here, closer, and I'm gonna pick up this part right here. So I bring it here approximately, let's say, and then at this point, now I can say, hey, I need to go left, I need to go down, and I need to go this way a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now you notice I didn't talk about millimeters or inches. They're right there. But that position is a position in space relative to its base frame.
Okay.
It's really good at math. I'll talk about the mathematics because I know you guys are heavily.
I don't want to know about the math.
I just know that it does. All right, so let's call this position pick. Pick. You can call the positions, etc. Bottom line, like Rami was mentioning, at the end of the day, once they install this on your floor plan, you guys have full ownership. You don't need to call him or me. We're always available, but surprisingly, nobody calls and says, hey, Boris, I need to modify point. What I do get is, Boris, I have 1,000 parts, I'm putting them through a CNC. Every 50 parts, I want to go to a camera and inspect to check my tooling. How do I do that? Well, no problem. Put this part in, I'll show you the rest of the code. You loops. Hey, I want to go down here and polish this 50 times. I want to go and I want to do this 10 times. Sub-programs. If you go somewhere and do a sequence, and you're going to do the same thing over here or over here, you put that in a subroutine, you just go there and do it. If else, you go to a camera, if good, continue, if bad, go down, start the counter. If 2 parts in a row are bad, ooh, something is seriously wrong. Let's just go up, start a red flash. There's a little device you can put in there.
It pulls the M on cord.
It could. It starts waiting for somebody to grab some. But better yet, there's a little SMS device we've started selling for like $800-900 bucks. It will text you. It will text you first. You don't respond. It will text him.
No, text him first.
We'll get his number.
Why
and
did you buy this?
Whole number, everything.
Causing all these problems.
Yeah. And here's the best part. You can text back and make it do something else. That's power. So if you know what the code is supposed to be, you say, for example, go to pallet 2, enter. And this will say, gotcha. Let's go to pallet 2.
Well, that's pretty cool. Someone that's running unattended at night and has a little glitch.
Nobody does that.
No. Yeah, night shift, it comes over and it nudges the guy. It just says, wake up.
Last shop we were at, it was actually putting parts that didn't meet expectations in the back of the fixture. So I had all the ones that were done to specs in the front and had anything that was even off a little bit, they'd put it in the back. And their goal, before they even consider the robot, is that it has to get from 5 p.m. to midnight. That was their mark. They said it's got to run from 5 p.m. to midnight, unmanned.
Yep.
And so that's what they're working on. Yeah.
And that's
What's the
upside
money
down.
for this?
That's just fun. What? So let me start. Robot
After they
starts
answer this,
here,
tell us if you think it was going to be more or less.
No, I get you. I get you there. So the robot, like we said, it doesn't include the stand. What it does include is the controller, the robot, and what he's holding there, right? So I'll make it easy. There's only 3 sizes. Let's just say 27, 35, 45.
Okay.
This is the 35.
Right. And then we put the effectors and effectors on.
Yeah, in fact, because you don't know what you're picking up, so that's something but it's, gripper and you put your own fingers, it's your thing.
So this is the middle ones. This is what, the 40, 40-ish?
This is the UR5.
Once you program it, you hide this. There's actually inputs for you. Push a green button, the thing wakes up and starts running a program. If you don't like this simple programming or sequence language and you're really good at C++, you're like, you know something? I want to run this through my PC, which is across the world. This is wide open. Through Python language, you can stream commands to it. Either you can send the whole file.
See the kid go.
Of course, the younger group, they're sadistic. They're like, forget that easy stuff.
Yeah.
I want to
He
show off.
wants to know what happens when he hooks up the output of his shuttle into that and starts playing it Metallica.
Surprisingly,
You're talking my language.
Nothing wrong with that.
So, for example, a company up north called Fitbit, they make the wrist exercise. So they said, hey, Boris, we need to move an arm just like a human being. So we went through some motion here, and they're like, you know, we changed it on the fly so many times. Forget this code. We're going to just throw this away, and we're just going to stream the commands. And I just gave them the manual. They never called me back again. They're running just fine because they have to monitor when that thing triggers, you know, from the acceleration.
Okay, so when we put together a,
Do it. No, let them do it.
Do it? Yeah, just
Yeah.
show them around. That's what happens.
And then will it resume?
Yeah, so show them that what it says.
So I'm just going to say continue.
Yeah.
Oh, it's already started.
Here, I'll do it again.
So I'll show you the current.
Hey, see what, show them what it shows that screen.
So it says protective stop, and the code says joint 1 because this is the one that felt the most force.
Oh.
You went above the limit, you say enable robot, continue.
Was that something you get a text on?
You could. Absolutely. So if the robot is running, oops, I stopped it. If the robot is running and let's say something from the ceiling falls into the work envelope, and you're getting text at night, you're like, wait a minute, what the hell's going on? And you buy a $35 camera, you glue it on the wall, connect it to your internet, and you're like, oh my God, there's a ceiling tile on the damn pallet. Somebody drive over there and get that together. Sky's the limit. Keeping it simple.
What about maintenance?
Yeah, because when I ran into a
Zero.
wheel, you're not gonna.
Well,
The robot is
Okay.
sealed. It has true harmonic gears, just like everybody else. Initially, when they came out, they told us 30,000 hours, which is about 4 years. But there's nothing to grease or no nipples to put a grease on, etc. The controller is pretty much electronic. Treat this like a PC. Wherever you would put a PC, you can put this. IP20, IP54.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool.
Now, the last place that we were at with the horseshoes, it was dusty. They were grinding metal. So what they did was, they actually had a jacket around the robot. And after so many weeks or months, when it gets dirty, they just take it out, either wash it and then put it back, or they just put up a new one. I think they're buying new ones.
10 for $100, and they change it like every couple of months.
so 3 years or normal use, 30, how many hours?
30,000 hours.
That's no
We don't know
longer
how they
advertised.
came up with
No
it.
long.
If you don't
Just-
take a baseball bat to it, there's nothing to go wrong. These are harmonic gears. They are looped for, I have a couple of Scaras running at 18 years right now.
What about mounting? So you've got a base, but you can move that anywhere you need and anchor it, or you don't need the, you don't
Hold the
need.
camera, you come on this.
Okay.
No, you're doing fine, absolutely.
Well, it's
you're gonna turn around like this.
You should. So
this is important because some people don't want the base,
Yeah.
or they need to anchor it. Some people just put the robot right on their machine like a mutated arm, and it's part of when they add a machine. They just get a robot for highly automated jobs.
It is very common to go to McMaster car and just get a pedestal for those grinders, bolt it down to the ground, put this on top, you're done. If you're gonna move this from one CNC to the next, which I don't see very often, this base actually has through holes. You move it up to the machine to wherever you think it's gonna reach everything. You drill, you put the inserts, and we have these long T-nuts or T-bolts. Bolt it down, run program A. It's doing this thing.
You don't have to worry about it breaking. What's cool about this robot, I know it looks a little bit bulky with everything here, but really, just like Boris says, if you get just the car, if you don't get the cart, and you just get the column from McMaster car, so how slim that robot is pretty important because now if you put it right next to the CNC, now it's not taking real estate space from you. So it's a very, very tight, right there. Looks bulky just because the box doesn't have to be right next to the. I think it's 10-meter cable.
5 meters.
5-meter cable.
Is that mounted to the floor, or is it mounted to
The Haas would be anchored to the floor.
to the floor?
This could be put on various different ways. You could roll this up. We could attach this to a Haas. There's multiple ways to skin a cat on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It depends if you want it dedicated to one machine. If you do, then you want to just mount the robot without the cart right there.
You put a part in, you come out, the door closes, 20 seconds later it's done. By the time you go pick up the finished part, go to the finished pallet, grab a new part to go in, that's like 8 or 9 seconds, let's say.
Yeah.
Exactly. With dual grippers, you put one in, you come out, you get another one, you're ready. As soon as the door opens, you grab the finished part, come out, put a new part in, come out. So your CNC is
You
as
just
fast
have-
as
it's-
possible.
It's like you have a grip here, a gripper there. You pick this up, you turn around, you put in the other one, the new one, and then you go away and put this away and go pick up another new one. Yeah, that's-
So robots are robots, but these guys just kind of, you know, evolution just kind of went like this. There's that big jump, just like these damn things. Especially for my age group here, we appreciate this much more than the younger guys, right? Because they were born into this. Oh yeah, this has been around since Jesus' time. No,
What do
it's...
you think of this whole thing?
That's the one that's been around. That's been around.
Oh, he's old-fashioned.
That's the one that's been around since Jesus.
I don't know.
It's got a flip phone still, man.
This actually gives us another extension of that.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, like toolmaker, now we have robot programming. Because the people that this places will have a higher level of skill to learn.
Exactly.
Talk about training.
All right. So whoever gets a robot from us, they get what we call core training. I bring the robot, I plug it in, we hook it up to a cable. I get 5 or 6 people, and I say, hey, here's how you do it. Literally in an hour, a group like this will kick me out. They're like, get out of here. We'll call you in 2 months. And then you guys start goofing around with it. You play around with it. You get up some questions. Hey, Boris, I'm trying to do this. That. Oh, got it. Good. Once you get involved and you want to go into deeper stuff, vision, conveyor tracking, still piece of cake. I can send you the programs already, but I have no trouble coming here. The beach is right there. I'll come out. Support is unlimited pretty much. Universal Robot themselves have advanced training in Irvine. That's where their office is.
Free.
Free of charge,
Class.
2 full days, but they go through their scenario. They'll talk about things that may or may not apply to you. So whenever you guys
Just all
go,
functionality, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So whenever I send our people there, I'm always saying, hey, write down your questions. So as soon as they start talking about it, throw your questions out there. Because that information dump is no good for
They'll
anyone.
just go through the boilerplate stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's great training, great guys down there. They're available by phone as well as we are. And nobody says, oh, you only bought one robot? No, no such thing. These are all functioning. I've not seen a purchase that has been sitting in the corner of the room. With Mitsubishi, Yamaha, oh yeah. We go in there, it's not working. What's not working? Well, the camera system, well, the robot had nothing to do with the camera. Or the conveyor wasn't working. So this usually takes the brunt of the blame just because it's the most intelligent device in there.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So these guys, usually, if you come up with an application that's complicated, I have no trouble saying no. There's nothing wrong with saying no. Oh, I want to do this. Oh, I'm sorry. Why don't we do a simpler application? Walk and then try to fly. So usually we pick an application that's not too low, not too high, that everybody can handle. We get it done within a week or 2. Then they're like, okay, now we understand the limitations or the capabilities. Let's go with the higher stuff.
Actually, this feature that he's going to show is pretty cool. And it's
Yeah, this
great
is a
for
feature
CNC.
actually you need for CNCs. If this feature didn't exist, you would have to put compliant devices here, etc. So a pneumatic device, as air cylinder, if you put, let's say, low pressure, it comes out, you can kind of push it back and forth. With a servo, that I think you guys are familiar with, if it's going from one position to the next, what happens when you stop it? It overloads, right? On this particular one, all I'm doing is saying, start from up there, don't move, but I want you for 5 seconds to push in the negative Z direction at 25 newtons. Now, if I told it to move from there to here, and I blocked it, it would overload. However, now, it's acting like a pneumatic cylinder. So when you put a part into a chuck, you have to bottom out before you close the chuck, right? So this feature is what does it for you. You push for 5 seconds, but in 3 seconds you close the collet. And this could be in X, Y, Z, RX, RY, RZ, or any combination of. It's mathematics, not motor dependent like the other robots. So now Y direction is that way, so that's going to start pushing that way. And this is actually what they're doing with that grinding application up north that you saw the video on. They're actually going down. Initially, the belt was very flexible. So he was going down and the belt was taking the brunt of it. Then we went into a force mode, but I just noticed he had another wheel because he wants more rigidity, and that force comes into play even more now. The power of this guy is that you guys have the ownership. It's not this monstrosity that somebody else programmed, has passwords on there, and it just does one thing, and if you need to change anything, you have to call the guy and hopefully he'll answer.
What do you think, C+?
Oh God.
Oh, I just to watch you, it looks like you've been pulling your hair out already.
All right, I'm gonna show you what the code looks like because you guys are crazy. All right, I'm gonna open up.
Because they like that abuse.
Yeah.
Of the C++.
I'm gonna say File New, Empty Program. You can even code it in here. Watch this. Script code. And I can just type in move J, X, Y, Z, RX, RY, RZ, acceleration, velocity, and all that. But I'm gonna say, let's open up another program. Let me open up this one right here. That's the script.
So you can save every program you've ever ran in
I
here.
sure hope so.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, right, Boris? Oh yeah.
So he is streaming the motion commands over the internet. I lost a lot of sleep on that one. So if there's any lag in the internet, obviously this thing just says, hey, I didn't get my last information. It's gonna wait until, oh, go over here, okay, go over here, do this, do that. So we finally talked them into, hey, send chunks of files, 5 lines of code, so there's a little buffer. Everybody has their own way of doing things. But if you keep it simple, right, the KISS rule in engineering, then when you're in the Fiji Islands and he's in Hawaii and he's in Thailand or somewhere, somebody here needs to modify. Brazil? Well, I'm going with you. When him and I are in Brazil at the show, the line operator is not fearful to go in there and modify point. And I've seen this with my own eyes. I've seen people that, let's just say they're not engineers, they pick this up, click, 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 they push the button, they move the robot out, they fix whatever they were doing. They're like, here, click, 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 go, hang it up, and they walk away. I'm like, whoa.
Is it a good idea to bring up a cart with all the pre-staged stuff by somebody else, or attach a robot to a cart and have the robot move up, or leave the robot on the machine and just move up a cart? How do you see the best staging for parts like
depends.
this?
If your cycle rate is 2 seconds, obviously you're gonna go through a pallet very quickly. So you wanna have multiple layers of pallets. And there's a lot of tricks to the trade. You can put them in drawers. So the robot grabs this drawer, depopulates this pallet, pushes this one out, grabs this one, depopulates this one, etc. McDonald's.
That's what they do.
That's right, I can remember that.
I used to work at
McDonald's does it. You ever seen
McDonald's, 12 hamburger queso, por favor.
Really?
No
Yeah,
cebolla,
they make
extra
them, they
queso.
put them in pallets, and then from the other side, they pick them up from the cashiers. Very good analogy, thank you. If it's a 5-minute cycle, and the parts are small, you put a pallet here, it's good enough for 4 hours. Every 4 hours, somebody comes and takes this pallet, takes another pallet, and you have maybe locating pins and continue. Just type in Universal Robot, you'll see some crazy applications. They're actually pretty interesting.
I came by earlier, Brian, and you were taking her for a walk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Scott can give you a treat. There's
Can I? Can I give her one of these?
Maggie
Oh,
treats.
thanks. Oh, Maggie.
Oh, you don't even make her shake or anything for it.
No, does she roll over? Don't any tricks, Brian?
Absolutely.
Robots. No, I think robots are great.
You do? You're old school, man. You like robots?
Yeah, because that way you don't have to have employees.
Oh. You wouldn't get rid of Maggie, though. We couldn't replace Maggie with a robot.
No.
No. You're safe, Maggie.
Yeah.
You hear that?
Yeah. Robots.
Thank these guys for spending the last couple days with me, Rami and Boris. I think this is a good trip.
Absolutely.
And I think hopefully this video, if I finish it up right, should be helpful to anybody in the manufacturing world about robots and how they can help you out. So thanks to these guys. You can call me, Scott, HFO Anaheim. You can definitely call Numatic Engineering, and these guys will help you out too. So until next time, see you on the road.